Yes.
Oh, yes, man.
Yeah.
Did you catch the show?
Yeah.
So you heard our discussion about Dripping Springs or Pound Town, huh?
Yeah.
Now, did you like the current name of Drippin'? Oh my God.
Good show, everybody.
By the way, shout out to Craig, who came in like seconds too late and dropped double the current amount. Was about to nuke the Bit Boss competition, but came in
Too late.
just a hair too late for the podcast. But you get recognition here, my friend. 1808.
Yeah.
Literally double.
Nicely done. That's a Icarus looking motherfucker. That's what happens. You melt away all your bits. You go tumbling down to earth with the rest of us. You end up in Pound Town.
Man, it is hard to talk about Johnny Thompson.
Well, and
I
don't feel like I don't want to end up accidentally overstating, what things mean or like, there are, like when Muhammad Ali died, it was really weird on Twitter to see people race to out brag to each other how much they're gonna miss him even more. And I don't want to be that or be seen as that. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess, and that's why, like, it is something that I do feel like uniquely. I mean, you know how Magic is. Like, Magic's very tribal. Everybody, like, there are a few tribes that you're in and you're close to, and they have friends and they have enemies, and that's just kind of how it goes. And it was, I think, the reason why iTrix did well was because it existed beyond a tribe, right? And so with that, I wound up talking to a lot of people from the Magic Cast, and a lot of people from Mind Freak, and a lot of people from the David Copperfield people, and a lot of people from Texas, and a lot of people from New York, and a lot of people from these various other little things that exert their own little influences into the body magic, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the UK, obviously. Like, when you talk to the people inside Mind Freak, when Mind Freak was shooting, two things were constant. They had a real difficult lead talent. And Johnny Thompson is one of the most brilliant people on earth, considering no matter what, like, his prestigious work is happening now with Fool Us, where he gets to work with the best and they showcase their best, and they are working within a system of prosperity where it's the highest rated thing on the CW and yada, yada, yada. Mind Freak was not thought of well within Magic, and yet it had to do 8 effects a show for a show that was creating anywhere between 12 and 18 episodes a season, and they want to do a season a year. I mean,
and on fairly low budget, depending on who you hear. Like, regardless of how much A&E was being paid, I know the effects had a very low budget.
Low budget.
Also, Scooper Nova Girl says, "Sorry, don't mean to make you feel weird." Oh, no. Thank you so much. In fact, you gave us permission to talk about it at all, because otherwise, I wouldn't have felt comfortable bringing it up. Just because.
I mean, certainly not beyond a quit. Like,
right.
R.I.P. Johnny Thompson, right?
Yeah. Right.
But, like, with that, from inside that production team, like, it was understood that, like, you have to do a show that's going to get renewed. Like otherwise, you're literally just grist for the mill. You're going to do a bunch of episodes. They're all going to suck, or they're going to be uninspiring, and that'll be that. And certainly I think Chris Angel is underrated for his charisma and his connection to his audience, but the tricks got to be good. And if the tricks were good, Johnny Thompson was working. Like that was it. And not to say that the rest of his creative team was bad, because I think they did have some smart minds there, but like ultimately he was the constant. He was the dude that saw everything. He was the dog the guy that touched everything. And that's something that I don't know if people even now understand how hard that was and what an effort that was as a Magic creator. Because I've been on the inside of one of those shows, and I've been in the inside with creative minds, one of which at least you and I know very well. And like at a certain point, when you've done a certain amount of Magic television, I mean, what else? You did a push-up, ate an egg on it. Right. What else you gonna do with it?
You levitated it, you transformed it, you teleported it, you predicted it. What else is there left to do with it?
Yeah. So it's like, there are people that I know that are fucking brilliant, that are maybe the smartest Magic minds that I have like talked to, that at a certain point it's like, all right, well, I did this shit for, the Carbonaro effect 2 years ago, and then I did this shit for Dynamo a year ago, and then I did this shit for some other guy, and then next thing you know, you show up on set and you're like, okay, well, I mean, I guess we could have the card show up. This time it'll be in her purse. And it's like, I can't blame them. They come up with a lot of fucking magic. Like, it's hard to do. It's hard to do at scale. And Johnny Thompson did it.
Yeah. Hey. I'm gonna run and refill.
Okay, you go for that. We'll do show titles when we can get back.
You got it.
All right. Hey, Justin. Good show.
Yo.
Good show.
Yo.
So I posted to Twitter the other night because I've still had this show on my mind, about the OA. I've brought it up now twice on Weird Things, and I always recommending that show is super weird because it's very weird to talk about.
Sure.
But I had tweeted out the other night, wanting to know how when it was airing, how people felt about Lost, because I did not watch Lost when it came out. I've not seen Lost since, but I know that they are both like mystery box sorts of shows.
Sure. I mean, I haven't seen the OA, so I can't really compare them, but certainly, sure. I mean, J.J. Abrams kind of like popularized the idea of the mystery box with Lost. So,
were you watching Lost at the time? I'm gonna
yeah. No, big Losty.
Yeah. I just remember there being so much energy about Lost, but I never watched it, and the two things that I had were, or I guess the two open-ended questions I had were, how did people feel while watching Lost and now that it's over, and also, do you think it's too big to binge? Do you like the thing about?
No. I think Lost. I would not be shocked if in the next 5 years Lost became had a little resurgence, because it is a great bingeable show. And once we get away from the initial idea of what it was and the ending, then I think it'll be appreciated in a different way as just like a treasure you dig up and go on this weird treasure map for.
Yeah.
The first season of Lost is maybe the best season of television ever.
Wow.
It's and part of it, the question will be, in a world where Game of Thrones exists, and literally hey, did you like Lord of the Rings? Well, guess what? Here's a more coherent, sexy, real version that spans for 8 seasons.
Yeah.
This is before that. So it's the idea that there could be a big marquee, big budget television show that had these nods to Stephen King, these nods to science fiction, was groundbreaking. It was insane. It was everything. It was like the first time you saw a good Marvel character movie, and you're like, oh my God, all these things that have been neglected by popular culture now spun up into like pure gold. That is Lost.
Are you talking about Castle Rock or
How about Lost?
Or wait,
And because I don't know how to talk to people about the OA, and I think it makes me feel the way Lost made people feel. But I'm trying to suss out what that emotion was at the time, and if it's too big or too dense to sort of binge nowadays. Lost is.
I thought so. Keep in mind, I gave up on Lost twice, and both times were times that I had binged it, loved it, and then went week to week. And week to week, it was agonizing because if you waited a week and you got some answers and new questions unfolded, it was never enough, and you were just mad. I mean, to be honest, like how we feel about Westworld is at some point, some people started hate watching.
JJ's attached to Westworld, right?
Yeah, I think he was like an executive
an EP
producer
on
or
that,
something. Yeah, but I think on balance. And yes, there's the challenging second season because of the writer's strike. But on balance, they did a fantastic job of immediately giving you good questions, because questions are better than answers. And every time, by the time you got to an answer, I felt like in general, two more interesting questions would pop up. And they kept that act going for a good time. And unfortunately, they had to write Lost. I think it was only... There was like a big moment when they finally were able to announce there'll be 4 more seasons. And then that's when it got good, is when they knew that they were going to wrap things up. Yeah. And a lot of people didn't like the Lindelof ending to it. At that point, everything had meandered so much that I was fine with it for what it was. I mean, it was.
All right. So to me, Lost was great because it was like a great like RPG where you were you're literally on a spot in the map, and the further you expand out on that map, the more treasures and excitement await you, and that's where the questions came. But they were always satisfying. It was like, oh, who's that rustling in the woods? Oh my God, it's an amazing revelation what was rustling in the woods, but holy shit, where did he get that microphone? And then that goes into some other direction. Where the problem is that ultimately they, within that world, they came up with these great little like complete stories, and that's ultimately what I think that show will be remembered for, are the complete stories they told within this burgeoning, exciting universe. What they will be remembered for, like poorly, is the fact that they didn't have an answer to why they were on the island.
Yeah, it's a bit like watching a plate spinner. You're like, I can't believe all these plates are still spinning. And then at the end, you expect him to, the plates didn't crash, but he didn't, juggle them and make them all land on top of each other in a perfect finale. Instead, they cut to commercial, and that was the end of the act. I mean, it's like it's fine. You didn't watch all the plates crash,
right?
But you didn't. People were like, "Well, where's the part where he jump kicks and catches them all in his teeth?" That's what I wanted. And
but Lost was dishing out answers along with questions.
Oh yeah,
right.
I mean, they were dishing out questions. So like the central question, why are they on this island, lasts forever.
Yeah.
Right. And it lasts till the end of the show. Everything in between, who they are, who they meet, why they're there, like what they want to achieve while they're there.
It's a fractal.
Who they become, like that is all told and ending to the point where the final season they have to then restart some of the stories because they've kind of run out of rope on their character and they need to restart them in different directions so they can bring them in for this final epilogue.
Gotcha.
But hey, look, there's a reason why when the Ringer did their list of the 100 best television shows of all time, the number 1 episode was a Lost episode because it is one of the raddest science fiction-y, grounded in reality, well acted shows that really did set the tone for what we've had since.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. I think Lost may be
If you jump
the
in,
next show.
I would love something that I could watch without guilt.
Sure.
And pay half attention to.
Yeah.
So if
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I might be into.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
really?
We'll hit that group text. We'll hit that group text.
I've been looking for a reason to coax Ashley into watching Lost for a while, and she seems not interested at all. But
Dude,
I will say
just
that-
get her
and this is-
15 minutes in.
Brian, this is what you missed. First season, maybe one of the best seasons of television ever.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you're able to binge it, it is unreal. Because I remember I had to pirate it. I guess you do pirate broadcast television. This is back when before I was reformed.
Globe TV.
Yeah, Globe TV.
That's the broadcast that I always see on pirate.
Oh,
Probably
that's
it's
funny.
The Canadian Globe TV shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Because I don't know. I really like the OA, and I don't have any other point of reference for a mystery box show like this.
Yeah.
I think the last time, the only thing I can think of kind of similar might have been Hemlock Grove, and that's not even a puzzle box show. That's a bad supernatural show.
What you will realize is how much has been ripped off from Lost since Lost. Like there was a time for like 5 years as once Lost got super popular, and then through its ending and even afterward, where everybody did two things: either had people stranded in a place or time, right? That was a gigantic thing, or they're just like, oh, let's just like Lost was basically a movie pilot. Let's just take movie plots, and we won't give a fuck about what happens in episode 5. We'll just do a story that seems very exciting for episode 1. We'll pop a big number, and then we'll figure it out. Lost doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, they just put a bunch of people on an island and made shit up. And it was all garbage, almost universally. But even then, the good shit still, A, steals half the actors, and B, takes these little themes and ideas that Lost was great at. There's a reason why all those writers are still making gigantic movies and television.
Also, enjoy the fact
there's a reason one night I was watching Grey's Anatomy for some reason. I was watching Grey's Anatomy with someone. I'd never seen it. I really didn't have any interest in seeing it, but it was on. And I was watching it. I was like, I've seen all of these stories. I know how these stories end because I've seen Scrubs a lot.
Oh,
and it's just like, well, it's hard to go back to that sort of stuff. So I'd be interested to see how much of Lost holds up in that way.
Which, Justin, have you given a try to Love, Death, and Robot yet?
No.
Man, I'm so enjoying.
You are really just looking for. By the way, spoiler alert. Text me these things because for whatever reason, like you've just been like it's only in these segments on the internet that you're like, have you seen Love, Death, and Robots? Just text me. Hey, watch Love, Death, and Robots so we can talk about it on the show.
If I do
watch
that,
the show.
He doesn't want to because it's going to sound like a recommendation.
Exactly.
And he's not recommending it to
Exactly.
anybody.
I fucking hate this. Watch it so I can yell about it.
Okay, great. Great.
I'm in that.
Yeah,
Yes,
great.
please.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh my goodness. Love, Death, and Robots. Hey, let's take a look at some show titles over at nanattack.show.tv. Like our top one.
Photo Baggins.
Photo Baggins, indeed. From
Yeah, that's I kind of would find it hard to get better than photo
That's pretty
baggage.
good.
Well, but it's a visual bit.
let's see. Drippin', pounded in the town by my own town. The real Pound Town is the friends we pegged along the way.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Change your name to Pound Town says what?
Night attacks Pound Town adjacent. She has 2 ears. The woman with 2 ears coming
Maybe
this summer.
she's just a good listener.
Your mom's name is Bubbles.
That Barbara Bush trip.
Pound Town adjacent. True Spirit.
Hairline?
Heroin?
Oh my God.
Well, that is a deep. That was all the way back to a BB Live show, wasn't it?
What a fabulous jail. Headshots and mugshots is also pretty good. But yeah, I think what was our top one here? Photo Baggins.
I would say if we're not into photo baggins, then change your name to Pound Town Says What is my pick.
That does give up the news drop moment. We could do.
I like photo
Then
bags.
word salad. Are you telling me
No,
you're gonna
yeah,
look
you're right.
at
You're right.
all-
Let's do change your name to Pound Town Says What.
Okay. That'll be the title. Thank you to Sunbun and everybody who switched show titles using the biggest command in the chat room.
Yo.
I need to get that link. I'm writing an email.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
cool.
This is the time where you and I have to talk, Brian.
Yeah, but,
Just a
but
couple
what do we have
minutes.
to talk? We said all the. I mean, we spoke the words. We had the communications. What else is there to do with it?
Prima Nocta Nictu.
Prima knocked away. Isn't that
Oh,
where?
Jesus.
Isn't that where the king has sex with my wife?
Your to be wife.
Yeah, I basically said the word. Sure.
Oh, that's right.
What is it? Wait, what is it? What is it in Army of Darkness?
Klaatu Barata Niktu.
Latu Varata Nictu.
Yeah.
No, because I made a Prima Nocta joke to Heaton today on Twitter.
Oh, Jesus.
I called Heaton last night, intending just to say hello, and we ended up chatting for like 45 minutes, and I ended up driving in circles around the neighborhood because talking on the phone, I couldn't come into the house, but also
Yeah.
Kepler was in the car and he had his head out the window, so I didn't want to manage, get him in and be all whispery and then go back out and walk around the neighborhood and shout.
Yeah.
And so Bonnie noticed that I was gonna take Kepler and run around the property, but then it had been more than an hour, and so she opens up the Find My iPhone and she's just like, "Why is he at the neighbor's house? Why is he at that neighbor's house? Why is he over at this other neighbor's house? What is going on?"
So she like hit you up? She's
Yeah,
like, yo,
she
bitch,
called-
what you doing? You selling fucking weed?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. When are we gonna get Heaton on this show?
I don't know. When he's not, I mean, dude, doing a daily, can you imagine doing a daily show?
Is that his only gig? Because a daily show is doable, but yes, I was talking to him at South by, and he does a lot of writing for that show. And it's not
Yeah.
a lot of people who work on it.
Yeah.
No, by not a lot of people. I think it's Andrew Heaton who writes everything, and he
Yeah.
has.
He was saying he has a partner he runs stuff by, I guess. Or
Yeah, his
a
producer does all. I'm sure he workshops some stuff. But meanwhile, like when I was talking to him last night, he was like, "Oh well, I hate to do this, but I'm supposed to go to bed soon, and I've got 2 more books to read." And, I mean, it's like he preps. And by the way, freaking showered like 4 minutes of praise on just like Justin comes to play. He comes prepped and ready to melt your fucking face. It was really great. Like it made me because I remember, it's one thing he's like, "Hey, come on my show," and I'm like, who you should really have is my friend Justin, and I met him. He seemed pleasant, and then ever since you have showed up, he's just like, "Oh man, Justin shows up ready to rock."
No, it's great because it turns out we have a shared audience, which is all I've really ever wanted was to just grow this like community of people, and they don't even know that there are a community yet of people that may not agree but like to talk about things. Oh, what a shocking concept. Knowing the world without yelling your opinion or having an entire...
Okay, you could roll your eyes like it's not this hard, people, but it is very clear from Andrew Heaton that you and I assume I have a very singular gift in that we can report on a game without having a team that we root for.
Or even like have a light opinion. Like maybe like throw one little like this guy, how he does. Like maybe some a light little wisp toward it without it being the entire point of the everything, right? I don't know, but it's great, and what I love is all the time, and it happens almost 2 or 3 times a week where somebody will be like, hey, who was that Andrew Eaton guy that was on your show? Or like, I loved hearing you. Thank you for turning me on to Andrew Eaton. So it is awesome because I think, number one, I think Andrew Eaton is a great political mind, and he certainly is very strong in areas that I am weak in, that he cares about how government runs, and I really care about people getting into government. Like, as soon as I get there, it's like, hey, have a good time at summer camp. I'm going to go back and see who else needs a trip into town. But he, as a comedic writer, is just mind-blowing. I mean, like, that dude does daily
Sketches.
no matter what, one fake ad, and they are hilarious. Like, just next level. Like, they're not trite or like satirical in like what I would write. You said like, Justin, write a fake ad. I'd be like, okay, let me write a shitty version of the Quip toothbrush, and it'd be like, glass brush, fucking rub glass in your mouth, idiot. Like that would
Write
be
that down. That's a good pitch.
It's actually pretty
That's
good
a
bit.
pitch.
Yeah.
Heaton is like, comedically, he's like doing these like Paul Harvey ads from like back in the day, but in a modern sense, and they're like,
And he's
hilarious.
doing it single mic, which is like I don't know how to be funny without anybody else around. Like, that's so hard. How do you be funny by yourself? He's so shocked.
Oh my goodness, the connection
That
was lost.
he can't even move.
I give that a
Justin,
1
I
star.
asked you a question. Oh God, it's my nightmare happening right now. I'm trying to be funny all by myself. No! Where's that glass brush? I need it for my eyes.
Ah, jeez. There we go. See, he went to go write down glass brush and he knocked the router off the desk.
I did, yeah. You know what was fucking weird about that is literally like, I died here and then I watched you panic on Twitch.
You're like, yes, now you learn.
It's like, the scheduled tithing will begin.
Remember when there was one set of footprints? That's when I left you alone to twist in the wind.
Anyway, Quip class, go.
Weird book of the Bible.
God, it's
No,
getting
sorry,
warm.
I actually didn't hear what you had said initially about him
Oh,
writing.
just he's doing all that with one mic, which is insane. It's very hard for me to conceive of being actually funny without anyone else to riff off of. And that was the moment you left, and I realized I had to do exactly that.
I mean, he has a guest every day, basically cheating.
Sure.
Not a true one mic show. Like some people.
Hey, an interview is difficult to do too. Even weekly.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like that dude's writing is something that I am so intensely jealous of. Like the fact that he carves out so much of that show to be like, and then clear out, folks, because I'm just going to tell these hilarious stories to you. Like, and then like, and now I'm gonna do an interview. Like, his range is awesome.
Well, and plus also, I remember when he was describing what he wanted it to be. Like, I hope I'm not talking out of school. I was like, this sounds insane and hard because I saw, and see Tom Merritt do a daily news show.
Sure.
And that's a lot. And what you describe that you want to do are think piece interviews with thought leaders at the top of their games. And somehow he's done it. He does exactly that. He manages to do a daily news show and once a week have a really in-depth interview with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Andrew Heaton's good, and he should come on this show. Everybody go
Yeah.
at Reply Mighty.
Why
Heaton.
hasn't he shown up on this show? Is he ashamed of his Diamond Club associations, his friendship? What's he hiding?
You know, we never did.
Apologize?
We never got Stossel stories to see whether or not he's met or hung out with Stossel.
Wait, Heaton has Stossel stories, or is the
He's
studio?
very plugged in with the Reason crowd, the libertarian stuff, and he's worked at Fox News. He's worked in Washington.
Look, there's like 15 working media conservatives in New York. There's zero chance he hasn't at least met John Stossel.
Oh, well. I only got his email a couple weeks ago, so hopefully we can get him on the show.
John
soon.
Stossel.
Yeah, John Stossel. Turns out John at johnstossel.com. Turns out.
Can we make that a 2019 goal?
What?
Stossel on the show.
Man, okay, I don't know. Yes. But we got to figure out a way.
Make it work.
Well, right. Only if we
It
figure
would be
out a
great
way.
for the audience if we were on our best behavior, because
Only if we figure out a way where he's happy to have
Queen
done
was
it.
coming into town.
Only if we do it in a way where he was happy to have done it.
Well, of course.
I mean, like, it has to be fun. The Spin Dash is like, we
Well,
would fuck it up.
These are very weird booking guidelines. Let's make sure they have a good time.
I looked at it.
I think that's a minimum, maybe.
Look, Bryce, you should know by now. That's Brian's brain crashing, and just like that's like the error message is. I hope everybody has a good time. Like there's that's beyond rational thought. That's beyond how I could do it. That's just I hope everybody. That's fucking like DOS prompt. I hope everybody has a good time.
That's true. Oh, jeez.
Hey, you want to see us unbox a suit of armor?
Jay Stossel at the government.
Yeah, here you want to set this up while I
Yeah,
set
so
up
so
my
we
laptop?
we showed off, that there's actual construction happening, and then we talked about plans for the property, and then we announced that we have a post office box and people can send us stuff, and we unwrapped the lie cheat steal thing, and then we unboxed the suit of armor, which took a fucking million
It
years.
took like an hour.
Like-
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, we did that, and it's this.
Guillotine. That was.
It was in like
I
8
kind of
boxes,
got
8
a
huge
full
boxes here.
set.
Now wait.
Legitimate.
Did you explain where it came from, or did you sell it as like, oh my god, what a crazy package?
Oh, well, let's watch and find
Our
out.
safety gear
This
around
is
here.
for all the people complaining about our lack of safety. We're
All
gonna
right.
be so safe.
Yeah, let's tear into this, huh?
All right. Man, I ain't gonna use a knife. You might cut yourself with a knife. I'm gonna use my utility key available at scamstuff.com.
True fact,
It's
we
perfect
sold
for-
$700 of scam stuff
So this
after
suit
that
of armor
posted.
belonged to John Teasdale, who co-created the Contender, and he used it to cosplay as a character called Attack Knight, the Night Attack Knight that might attack Night Attack. And the bit was, we would do the show, but at any given moment, we might say something that might displease him, and he would get halfway up and get ready to attack, but never actually attack. So he was always in that super position.
So we're fast forwarding. These are good cut bits.
Yeah!
No, I love it.
By the power of Scam Nation!
Lightning bolt.
We're gonna start putting this on.
John really
And I'll
crushed it
attack
on
the
that,
rest.
man.
No? You don't want to get all nighted up? You want to feel what it feels like to get your ass kicked by a knight?
Do it! Yeah! That was a lot of work. It was exhausting. But worth it. Behold! The Rogue Knight! Rogue Knight, come forward! And claim your... Do you need a hand? Are you going to hurt yourself? There you go. He's a very decrepit old rogue
He's been in
knight.
that suit of armor for a very long time.
What, who on earth?
Trevor Fehrenbach!
How do you smoke in this thing?
Dude, we have a freaking suit of armor. How does it feel?
I'm living out one of the weirdest fantasies I've ever had. This is like my childhood come true.
You look phenomenal.
It's all happening faster than we ever dared dream. So let's hear from you guys. What do you guys want? This is kill him now. It's fine. It's fine.
It's knighting.
All
Knighting him.
Oh, good.
The first nut, he's probably
first of his
supposed to,
name.
supposed
Yeah.
to kneel.
Sort of
but
fizzles at the
I'm
end.
not gonna-
We're sort of done.
Back up.
We've been on a big old journey.
No, that shit is hilarious, and I am so glad that that suit of armor found
It's forever
a
home.
true home.
Yeah. Well, and it's just so you have an intuition that doing something crazy like not getting a office lease, but instead, buying a cult compound, you're like, that seems like that would be a good story or whatever. But like, 2 or 3 of the comments that I've seen so far to that video were like, you guys are living the dream. Keep doing it for the rest of us. And it's like that idea just was so validating, where it's like, you know, portraying this idea of like we're creating a weird, crazy sandbox. You know, we're seeing, you know, kids teleport into adult bodies and shit.
Well, I mean, look, there's a million reasons why things don't happen, and yet things are happening on this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So you should like and subscribe.
Big day for John.
Yeah, he also cut
He also
together
did the
this
Scamnation video today.
Yeah, the Masked Magician thing.
Yeah, it's all about the Masked Magician. Check it out. But both videos are doing pretty well.
Yeah.
For,
Hey, get this. Me talking about the Masked Magician turns out is a bit controversial. Guess what I said that was controversial about the Masked Magician?
What?
That the show was a cynical bashing of magic. And everybody who saw it when they were children, they only knew that they liked learning the secrets of magic. And they all showed up to say, a bunch of them showed up to say, no, it wasn't cynical at all. It was about how clever magicians are. And I was like, fucking you go back and watch
that
any
right
of that shit. And then
it was the legacy of what that is are YouTube channels like Trickbusters or something like that, where it's all about like, they think they can get one over on you, but you know better now. Like I'll give the normies a shot with these bullies trying to mind I was gonna say mind fuck, then I realized that's literally mind freak. But yeah.
Well, and the
because a lot of the things people were hanging their hats on was, you know, I guess at the end of these specials, he, you know, unmasked himself and was like, "Hey, I'm trying to do a very good thing," which is kind of not far from the objective of Scam Nation.
Correct,
right?
but the difference is
it's not his show. It's not his singular show. A lot of things go into making the tone of those.
Yeah,
specials.
and also he's the hired help. He's the hand. It's not his show. It was not his idea. He was approached. The thing was written by producers, and their original plan was to
producers.
No. Like they had all decided this, and they went and they're like, "Hey, we're doing this." Somebody suggested maybe we should actually have a magician too, and he had no control over the tone or the writing, and also that little "I did it to help magic" was stapled on at the end of 5 or 6 years of a constant, cynical, awful shitting on magic drumbeat. And again, if you're a kid, you never heard any of that. And you just remember, well, I remember he said, I did it to help magic.
Sure.
And you know, everybody's parroting that. And it's like, no, the legacy of this show was 5 years of cynicism. And by the way, somebody specifically said, he just caused magicians to up their game. And I said, oh, which explains why the next big magician was Chris Angel, right?
I mean, you could probably put a few people in between those two. Blaine would be between.
Blaine precedes Magic, Masked Magician.
His first special?
Yep. That was 90,
So wait, his first special comes before his last special?
No, Blaine's first special comes before the Masked Magician special.
No.
The first. Yeah, I'm almost certain. Because Blaine was contemporaneous with, I believe, Rudy Kobe's run at Fox. This would have been...
Oh, it was after. Breaking the Magician's Code. Or at least he was doing big specials.
May 1997, Blaine's first television special, David Blaine's Street Magic, aired on ABC. Breaking the Magician's Code, Magic's Biggest Secrets... 4 shows between 1997 and 1998. See, do we have a show date on here? November 24.
Wow.
November 24, 1997. So, 6 months? Blaine was 6 months before? And in production time, that's nothing.
But regardless, I found it so interesting that there were people who were offended by what I thought was a fairly uncontroversial statement of that the stated goal of that show was to shit all over magic, and they very much did that. And then you get into all this stuff where it's like,
So Rudy Kobe, coolest magician on earth, was 95. So that was 2 years before.
yeah. What's funny is people start defending, like, no, you're thinking of the narrator. The narrator said shitty things about magic. The masked magician loved it and said so at the end. Like, yes, because the lines he was handed after 6 years of this stuff allowed him to say that one thing. It was his only line.
Yeah, and you know, the same producers did other specials about, like, they did one about professional wrestling that was similarly critical of the, like, oh, they're getting one over, like, on you. It was
reductionist is what it was. It reduced both magic.
God damn it.
I was saying, I don't know if you heard me, I was saying it's reductionist. It reduced magic to the deceptive method, and it reduced wrestling to the techniques or whatever. And either way is a garbage interpretation, and it bums me out. It makes me realize just how powerful telling stories to kids is. Like, and also, those people who are saying that, they're saying that because that's what they were told when they were kids. Well, and they don't want to give it up.
And also, like, if this video was twice as long, all of that nuance would be in it.
Correct, but I'm glad it was this length. And
no. Here's my take on that is that if Scam School existed back then you wouldn't have to be forced to have inspiration from such a garbage, shitty, cynical production. The problem with our wrestling in the world of magic about that stuff is that there was no base layer free reaching out to people. Hey, are you interested in magic? It was all in this secret, weird, and we don't need to get into the darker elements of it, like protected clubhouse.
And that's what I say in this video is I talk about the niche, type, and spice. You know, type is what you do, spice is how you make it interesting. Niche is the need that the universe has. That need was so powerful that the first person to show up was this evil magic hating troll, but he showed up and delivered what the universe wanted, which is, will you please teach us a little bit of magic? And he's like, yes, but I'm gonna shit on it the whole time. And they're like, don't care, at least I'm learning magic.
Well, and also it's like it doesn't, for the people that watched it, it was like, oh, cool, that's that. And then immediately forgot it, which, by the way, should have been the end of the exposure argument, right? Like the fact that this got the kind of views that it got was on the national zeitgeist, was on national television when national television mattered, and then immediately like, and so David Copperfield went broke. Oh no, he continued to be gigantically successful. Oh, so David Blaine never happened. Oh, David Blaine had a gigantic career. He's an icon. Chris Angel never happened after that. Whatever. Anyway. But also the idea that for the people that wanted to know, but maybe didn't have the money, maybe didn't know that they wanted to be magicians, it was the Svengali call. Like they were brought in, and it's like, oh wow, really? That's a fascinating concept. My brain can't stop thinking about it. It's burning overtime thinking about how I can apply this in my own world. Like, and that's really what all magic fascination is.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and you're right. All of those eddies of nuance and the difference between, like, weirdly, I do believe that the actor, Valentino, who played the Masked Magician, really did his best to influence it by, suggesting, well, let's do this method, intentionally picking outdated methods and trying to couch things and trying to steer things to the more, esoteric stuff that wasn't as many workers as people thought it was at the time, but regardless, it's like my whole point.
The Pendulette story.
Oh yeah,
Valentino.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually. Okay, yeah, you can tell it.
So I don't remember if it's a nightclub or a strip club. But a strip club's funnier, so I'm gonna say strip club.
Yeah.
And he's talking to the stripper, and Pendulette's there at the same club, and next thing you know, Valentino flags down Pendulette. He's like, Pen, come here. This girl doesn't believe that I'm the masked magician. Tell her the truth that I'm the masked magician. And he goes, hey, Valentino, you want to know what the Beatles, Frank Sinatra, and Elvis Presley have in common? He's like, what? None of them wore a fucking mask.
Oh, no. I think what he said, the way I heard it, which I thought was slightly funnier, was none of them performed with bags over their heads, which I thought was more dismissive.
It's pretty good.
It's better when he tells it.
I had a thing. This is kind of similar to what we were talking about, but I had a thing earlier today. For some reason, I fell down a Wikipedia rabbit hole, and I was looking at the Wikipedia page for a singer that is not singing anymore, and I knew a part of her career trajectory. She was a part of this group, and then she sort of ashamedly left this group because there were rumors that she was in a relationship, and you're not supposed to do that, and that was why she abruptly left the group and then had her own other shit. And I was looking at Wikipedia, and I know because I was trying to confirm and remember, just go down nostalgia memory lane, and Wikipedia had none of that. And so I go through, you can see the change histories on Wikipedia, and then I find one that's like removed gossip source or removed unreliable source, because the whole issue was that this story had been reported in a magazine called Friday, which is a tabloid newspaper, but I think it had been published with photos and stuff. But it was a gossip rag, but it was distinctly the reason that she left, and it had been deemed not information. And so she's not a big singer, and if you were looking for that information, I guess there are other wikis that are not Wikipedia that some of that information would be on. But if you were just doing a cursory glance, you would just see, oh, she abruptly left this group and said, I just want to be an adult and do my own solo career.
Right.
And not the thing that definitely happened, and I know happened because I was there watching that shit happen, not real time and not there, but at the time.
Well, and so if I'm following the thread, it's weird to see reality shaped after the fact, because as far as anybody knows, this is now the truth of it.
Not even shaped, but deteriorated, and it doesn't even feel massaged. It just feels like someone on Wikipedia saw, gossip. This is a gossip rag, so we don't really need to say that that's really what it was.
Bryce, this is what getting old is.
Yeah. No. And actually, I'm glad to hear you put it that way, because you remember, my astonishment with the comments, it's like you are not even talking about the show I'm talking about because you watched it as a child, and you yes.
I mean, this is how every TIL is 9/11 happened.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you're right.
This is how, and by the way, it's the reason why I'm gonna fucking in a couple of months do a podcast about an election that happened 60 years ago, because fucking no one remembers it, and yet there's really cool stuff and interesting stuff that happened and stuff that applies to our modern world. Yeah. And so you are right to understand that there is a worth lost, right? You are right to
objective truth. Objective truth
lost.
Has disappeared from a major part of the information landscape.
Yes.
And you are furthermore now at a crossroads. Do you care enough to fight for adding that to the Wikipedia? And congratulations, now we have a Wikipedia where these things are fairly easy and you can make that decision at your keyboard, right? Or do you not?
Yeah.
And if you don't, then maybe that information deserved to fall down the memory hole, because all information does. It is the natural state of information. It has gravity. It stays here, it goes away.
Yeah.
And if people aren't constantly volleyball spiking it, setting it back up, then it's done. It's over.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna look into Wikipedia and see, because it had changed a little while ago. They were because she had some other shit went down with her. that little nugget kind of, and it could be that was like massaging at the time when this other affair thing happened a couple years back, and so maybe that's a part of it. I don't know, but yeah, maybe I'll see.
Also, all those citations, I guess, have to be online links. You can't just scan. Like, let's say you had a physical copy of this magazine, and if you scan it and put it in, then all of a sudden it's like no original sources. Like,
that's weird because I've seen citations to physical issues or to physical things that are not linked to direct digital reproductions. So I think there is a way to do it, but it doesn't seem like the most the shortest path.
Well, and that's one of the things that I've noticed. This is part of the getting old thing. In the last 10 years, like if it's not already online, just nobody under the age of 30 can see it. Like it just doesn't exist. And at some point I figured out that my job for a couple years on Scam School is like, oh, I get it. My job is to read books, and you all act amazed that because you've never heard this before because it's in a book and not already online. And then once it's online, everybody parrots it. And it's nowhere is this phenomenon worse than on Reddit or in YouTube comments where it's like the only thing that exists is what they previously saw in YouTube content.
Sure. Or what Google serves up on their first page.
Correct.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah, man.
W.
Fuck
Scottus won.
information. What's up with that? What's up with them words?
Yeah.
Who
Data and shit.
Gave them the goddamn right. Fucking trying to own us.
You know who I think is right just in a general sense and not in any specific sense is just in general. W. Scottus 1 tends to be just right about a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Because he game night, the game night thing that he does.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great.
It's right. It's a thumbs up.
Yeah. I agree.
And he should do that.
do that game night.
I think so. Yeah. Certainly don't put it in a group email where we can both respond.
Well, because the reason is because we have other obligations on game night, and if you write a group email inviting
there's
us
a
to game
dynamic,
night,
and
we'll explain to you exactly why we can't join you for game night.
Right. Sorry about it. But do
But
that.
also invite us to game night.
Good times, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what. I feel like that was a funny joke. You want to get out of here?
Yeah, let's wrap it on up. I feel like that was a really good show. I'm proud of us and our skills to pay those bills.
Feel like we've got a lot of skills, dog.
That's right.
Hey, if you're starving for content, both of those videos I posted today on Scam Nation and Monorail were fun.
Yeah.
If you want to see the rest of them.
YouTube.com/monorogue, ScamNation.com. Let's see. Anything coming up this week? Do you have any? You don't have any shows coming up later this week. You're front loaded the week.
Yeah.
Justin, you got politics and jury every day.
Yeah, politics. Politics episode with my mom. Go get the one with my mom. Talked about the 2020 candidates. She asked whether or not Mayor Pete was the gay guy from San Francisco.
Find the answer on
Told
the
her she was
politics.
half right.
Alrighty, well, keep an eye out for all that and more on the internet. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Love you.